Max Stein.
And I'm Abby Curzon.
And this is the Not Your Average Knitting Podcast. We've been away for quite a bit, but we're back today. I think we're both pretty happy to be here together. And it's a nice day in Calgary. Oh, and how long has it been? Would you say?
Probably
a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half. So it's been quite a long time. And some of you have stuck around that entire time. I think we still have 1,600 subscribers on YouTube, which is pretty insane. So thank you very much for sticking with us through this time. You know, there's been a couple things going on in the world, a pandemic, a war, amongst a lot of other things. And so I introduced myself. So I'm Max Stein. I live in Calgary, as does Abby, and I play in the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra. I play French horn. I'm originally from the States. And this little guy over here, if you can see him in the frame, is Abby's dog, Billie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
now to talk about yourself.
Oh yeah, so I also live in Calgary. This is my, I don't know what you'd call it, like patio, I guess. My front patio.
Beautiful patio.
And that's my dog, Billie. And I'm a teacher in Calgary. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and obviously we love knitting, and the podcast, Not Your Average Knitting Podcast, you know, little quirky name that we came up with together, and the design was actually made by Abby's fiancé, Michael. And so yeah, we mainly talk about knitting, as that's both, you know, both of us, that's what we love to do mainly. And yeah, we have similar interests, I think, in wool and in yarn, and that's kind of how we became friends. And then there was other connections with music because we're both musicians, and Abby went to school for opera and actually went to the same school that I had gone to, just at a different time. So there was a lot of connections there. So yeah, so maybe let's start off with life updates. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I guess lots has happened for me. I don't know where to start. I got a dog, obviously. He's a good boy most of the time, although he does like to steal things, so we do have to watch.
I'll pick him up so they can see.
He's destroyed a few yarn labels. Yeah, he's a good boy, though. He's very sweet, and we are very glad to have him in our home. What else? I got engaged, so that's really exciting. I'm getting married fall of 2022.
Woo woo. That's coming up.
Yeah.
It's really soon.
Yeah.
It's October, right?
It's October, yeah, beginning of October. So
you're all invited. If you can find a location, then you're invited.
Oh my gosh, we'll just have all these people crash the wedding. That would be funny. So yeah, so really excited about that. What else? I was teaching music, but now this year I taught grade 4. I guess it's not, the school year is not quite done yet, but yeah, so that was a big change for me. Yeah, I think that's...
Maybe I'll start, and if you think of something, you can...
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, part of the reason, I mean, I think one of the main reasons why the podcast kind of took a break was because I took a pretty big break from knitting, which was a bit unfair to Abby in some ways, but I think there's a lot going on in my life, personally, professionally. The pandemic kind of affected me negatively, and for some reason it affected my hobbies. I sort of was switching in between hobby to hobby. I sort of stopped knitting, I got really into plants, then I got really into birds, and then bird photography, and I've kind of circled around back to knitting, which I'm really happy. I finally, you know, sort of rekindled my love for it. I think I still loved it even when I wasn't doing it, but I think it's one of those things that if you're not feeling the passion for it, it can feel tedious, which doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to do something that feels tedious. But during that time, Abby has been knitting prolifically, I would say. Prolifically? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Prolifically? That's how you say it? Throughout that time, and has a lot to share. And I probably started knitting a couple months ago. And so, yeah, excited to be back. Oh, other things in my life. I moved in with my partner, Mark, or my boyfriend, Mark. who I have talked about on the podcast previously.
And do you want that?
And that's been going really, really well. I just found out that I got tenure in my position with the orchestra, which is a really big deal because it's been almost 3 years. So that's actually a really big deal. I think that's kind of it. Okay, so what we're wearing. So I am wearing, it's called the Cry Wolf Tee, or the Hybrid Wolf Tee by Corrado Lark. And it's kind of like a summer tee. I think it's made from a yarn by Brooklyn Tweed called Dapple. I'm not sure if they make it anymore, but they had it about a year or so, 2 years ago maybe. And it is mainly cotton, I think with a little bit of wool. And yeah, so I like it. I should have alternated skeins, which I didn't do, and you can see that pretty clearly in the yoke. There's just like this light section up here, but I don't really care. I like it, and it's okay for me. I'm not someone who uses hand-dyed yarn a lot, so I think that because of that, I wasn't aware of having to, I guess, alternate skeins. Most of Brooklyn Tweed yarn is not hand-dyed. It's not hand-dyed, so you don't normally have to alternate. So that's what I'm wearing.
Cool.
What are you wearing?
I am wearing the Bressay sweater by Wallin, and this is one of the pandemic finished objects of mine. It's got, I think it's like 12 different colors of Jamieson and Smith, and I can't remember all of them, but I did put them on my Ravelry page because I tried to keep it as close to the original design, which used Jamieson, which is different than Jamieson and Smith. So
isn't one spun or made on the Shetland Island and one isn't, or something like that?
yeah, so anyway, it's close but not exactly the same. But I did like the color choices that she made. So this was a pandemic project. It took me a really long time because it's quite a tight knit, I guess you could say. It's on like twos
tight
and
gauge.
Tight gauge, yeah, like 2s and 3s. So I almost gave myself like tendinitis because I was knitting on.
It's bottom up too, right?
Yeah, it's
Oof.
bottom up, and it was the sleeves that killed me because I was knitting on little
the
tiny
9-inch.
9-inch circulars on 2s and 3s, and it just about killed my hand. So,
Ay.
so but it's a proud finish, and I love wearing it. So.
Yay! I think it's beautiful. That might be the most, to me, that might be my favorite thing that you've made. But
Yeah.
I love a lot of things that you've made. This might be my favorite colorwork one that you've made,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I have to pick a lace one that I like from you.
Yeah, this is my favorite. It also took me like 6 months, so that's probably why.
That's a long time for Abby. Abby normally knits sweaters in maybe three or 4 weeks.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so talk about what we're wearing.
Finished objects.
Finished objects. Okay, I'm gonna go because you just went. So I don't have as many as Abby, but that's okay. It's not a competition.
No, life's not a competition.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with my. So when I came back to knitting, I decided to knit something that was, I would say, probably on the more simple side. I just kind of wanted to dip my toe into the water, dip my foot, whatever the saying is, and not overwhelm myself at the beginning. And so I made this cowl, and it is called the In the Loop. It's called In the Loop is the pattern, and it's by Melissa Culow, Culow. We'll write all this stuff in the notes. And I thought I had my glasses on. I was going to adjust them. And yeah, so it's a great cowl. I have a marker here or there, just the places where I kind of want to mend some spots that didn't go so well. But yeah, it's a doubled cowl, and basically what you do is you knit basically the length of the tube, and then you knit another length of the tube in a different color, then you fold it over, and you do a provisional cast on, and that way you can at the end use, I think it's either Kitchener or three needle bind off, I think, and that way you get kind of a doubled cowl, and I love it. And it's in Haynes Creek, which is like a DK weight. It's 100% wool. It's from the Loop knitting store in Kensington and Calgary, and it is beautiful. I actually haven't blocked it yet. I bet when I block it, it will soften up even more. But it's great. I love it. and I think it will be really good for winter. So that's my first FO. And my other FOs are kind of smaller things. So I've been knitting socks, or I guess a pair of socks thus far. And I don't typically knit socks if you ever watch the podcast. And so this is my first sock, which I think went pretty well, I would say. Also, excuse the lighting changes. There seems to be kind of like a storm coming that we're hopefully going to
avoid.
Yeah.
If we don't, it'll be more exciting.
Then we'll be broadcasting the rest of this inside, so you'll see. Stay tuned. But yeah, that's my first sock, and it's beautiful. It's very soft. I kind of wish it was a scarf. That's how soft it is. And the yarn is it Lillian Pine?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lillian Pine fingering, or I guess it's sock yarn, in this beautiful green color. And got it from Stash in Inglewood in Calgary. And I haven't been a victim of the second sock syndrome. I'm knitting my second sock, so yes for me.
Yay.
It's happening. And I actually knit this really quickly. I knit this probably in 5 days. I was actually at my partner's cabin and everyone was talking to me and I couldn't knit anything complicated, so I just kept knitting the easy sock. And it's good car knitting too. I'm knitting on Magic Loop, which is something new for me. Excuse the mess. But I really enjoy the Magic Loop. I would say starting it is kind of a pain in the ass, but I think it's worth it, especially for me because I continental knit, where I knit kind of with my left hand. I pick. Because of that, it makes it a lot easier to do that than to do that on DPNs. Oh, and then the contrast color is Max the Knitter. It's kind of like his camouflage color. Yeah, so I got a mini skein of that. So that's kind of like half an FO. Oh, and the pattern is Xtranilla Socks by Megan Schmultz. That's an awesome last name. Sounds very Jewish. On Ravelry, and it's a great pattern. She has awesome patterns. She has also one where you don't have a different colored heel and toe and cuff, but you knit from the leg down. Okay, FOs.
All right. So I made a lot of objects over our extended break. I'm not going to show them all. I thought today I'd show mostly summery type things that you can wear over dresses that I've made. So this one is the Soldotna crop. I've made a ton of these, but I actually made this one for Christmas so that it was, you know, red and green themed, because I'm cool like that.
That one's really cute.
And this is the, and that's by Caitlin Hunter, I guess. I should have stated that. I've made a bunch of them. It's a really fun, fast knit, because obviously it's not very long, so, and it has short sleeves. The next one is the Misurina tee, also by Caitlin Hunter. It's like a cropped thing that goes, I put it over dresses a lot. And I got this yarn from a yarn store in Vernon. Oh, I should have said the Soldotna is out of Brooklyn Tweed Arbor. This one is out of a fingering weight yarn from a yarn store in Vernon. I can't remember the name, but it is on my Ravelry. So Misurina tee.
There can't be too many yarn stores in Vernon.
Yeah, Misurina tee.
Where is Vernon? Alberta?
No, it's in BC. It's like near Kelowna.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah. Anyway.
Other Canadians will know.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful. I like it. It was a single ply fingering.
What's the yarn? Did you say?
It's something. It's from the yarn store in Vernon, and I know it's their
it's their
house
base?
yarn. Yeah,
oh wow,
it's
it's
their base.
beautiful.
So,
when it's hand dyed. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, it's gorgeous.
This one was. I'm really glad I did it. It wasn't the most fun color work project, I will say, because there's not a lot of places where you don't have to carry the floats. There's extended periods where
there's like 3 or 4 stitches of the same color.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Oh, how do you carry it across the cable?
You have to
carry it in the back behind a cable. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So it wasn't, but I'm glad I did it. This next one is
Oh, sorry.
Weightless. by Anna Johanna. It's from the book Strands of Joy, which is like Lina published it. It's Anna Johanna's patterns.
What is
This
this?
is BC Garn Tessa Tweed. It's a fingering weight, 100% silk, tweed. I made 3 different sweaters out of this.
This is insane, Abby.
It's so soft.
You haven't told me about this yarn. I'm angry
at you.
It's
100% silk, so the nice thing about silk is that it's perfect for summer.
It's my size,
or
too.
winter, because it keeps you warm in the winter and it keeps you cool in the summer. So
wow.
Yeah.
So is the purple the Garn tweed too?
Yeah, they're both. They're both the Tessa Tweed.
Stop it.
It's gorgeous. It's not cheap, but it
I was gonna say if it's 100% silk, it probably. But
I
BC Garn is usually pretty affordable, so maybe it's like, is it affordable for silk or not?
It's affordable for silk, I would say. It's not cheap. I mean, a sweater is like $200 for me, but
okay.
But I made 3 of them in that Tessa Tweed because I like it so much. So
Sorry for hitting you.
do with that with what you will. No, it's fine.
I was kind of angry that you've never shown me that.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, and then the last one is just the Feel the Burn Crop by Caitlin Hunter. It's out of Ancient Arts Alaska worsted, and it's just a nice little crop thing that you can put over dresses.
This is your hair or Bailey's hair?
It's probably both, let's be honest. I did not glean things, and it gets a lot of use. And I have a lot of hair, and right now my dog has a lot of hair shedding, so.
What's that, Bailey?
Oh my goodness. It's a helicopter. But yeah, so he's a good boy though, so we're happy for him.
Okay. Is that your last one?
Yeah.
Okay, then what do we have after that?
Whips, I think.
Do we put acquisitions on there?
Yeah, acquisitions
Okay.
after whips,
So
unless
whips.
you want to
So whips, well, you've already seen the sock. I'm knitting the sock. I was knitting a sweater, the Billie pullover sweater. I was knitting that for a little while, and I was knitting it in a Haynes. I didn't bring it because I was ashamed. In the Haynes Creek worsted weight. So I love the Haynes Creek DK so much in this that I got it in worsted, and I knit probably for 3 or 4 weeks on that, which was so the Billie pullover. You can see it fine on Ravelry. It's cables all over. And I don't do cables, really. So, for me, I would say it was a challenge, but it was more so, it wasn't so much a challenge. I think I was doing okay with the cables. It was more so, I didn't quite get the gauge right. I think it was maybe it was a half size smaller than it should have been, or a third too tight, or I don't know what the math is, but I was supposed to be getting 22 stitches for 4 inches in the cable. I think I was getting like 30 or something like that. So let's just say this. I was knitting, and I stopped at the area we were supposed to split for the sleeves, and it was like here.
I think I started laughing.
Yeah, she laughed at me, and then I ripped it all out. And I'm gonna knit it again. Well, that's actually a pattern we're gonna knit together. Yeah, I ripped it all out, and
Serves you right for starting before me.
Yeah, karma. But honestly, I'm happy I started before her, because if I had started with her, I probably would have done the same thing, and then I would have been way behind. So yeah, that didn't work out. Maybe I should have gauge swatched in the cable pattern. I didn't. I just was like, oh, I'll go up 1 or 2 sizes for my swatch in the moss stitch. Did not work. What other whip? Oh, so I ripped that out, and I'm gonna do that at some point, but I needed a break from that. So I started this pattern, which just looks like nothing right now. Just looks like a hem, but it's in Lettlopi, and it's a Norwegian pattern. This is the bottom, obviously, the hem, and it comes from a Norwegian book that I got. It's called Wilderness Knits, and this book has been in Norwegian for a while, I think, but I believe Norwegian, yeah. And she just recently translated her books into English, thank the Lord. And there's a lot of gorgeous patterns in here, and the one I'm knitting is called the Matoaka sweater. And it looks like this. And you do a bottom up, and so I've been kind of trying to whip that out, and the fun part will be the top, obviously. And the colors I'm using are the colors from the book, which are this black, this kind of rusty orange, and then the blue against this white, which I think will look nice. So yeah, those are my whips. And I've also been doing a little bit of hand spinning, which I didn't bring, because I have too many things to bring today. But I have been doing some hand spinning. I learned to spin a couple weeks ago. And I have been spinning on my spindle. So that's kind of a constant work in progress, the spinning. Maybe I'll show that next time.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, your turn for whips.
Okay, so I'll start with what I'm working on right now. This is the Summer Flirt Tee.
Ooh.
And it is made, I'm making it in Manos Fino. And funnily enough, when Max was pulling out his Billie, I was also pulling out the right from the armholes.
You were maybe 4 inches down or something
yeah,
like that?
4 inches, and I had to pull it all back because it wasn't, the color pooling wasn't
Oh,
going
you have
the
a
way I
tulip
wanted.
stitch marker. I
Yeah,
don't know if they can see that.
it's cute.
Look at the tulip stitch marker. I love that.
But yeah, the color pooling wasn't doing what I wanted it to, so I went back to not alternating skeins, and I learned a very valuable thing, which is if you are making a project, you either alternate your skeins through the whole thing, or you don't alternate your skeins. You can't do both. You can't do, like, for example, I didn't want to alternate skeins because lace and alternating skeins just didn't really sound like much fun. So I didn't until I split for sleeves, and then I started, and that's what bit me in the butt, because then it looked stripy. So anyway, I learned a lesson. I'm wiser now, I think.
But it was really fun. We spent probably 30 minutes, the two of us, just ripping back all of our projects.
And then we watched RuPaul.
And then we watched RuPaul.
To feel better about our lives. So that happened. And then this guy is very bright. This is just a relaxing shawl. It's called the Adrift shawl. It's just a really nice pattern.
That yarn is insane.
Yeah, it was actually on sale at Stash. Oh, I should have mentioned, I got this one from Little Bow Fiber Company, which is a new yarn store in Calgary, the Manos Fino. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place.
We're out of practice.
We are. And then this one's Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Dip. And yeah, I got it on sale at Stash, and I really, really like the color.
Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Very
It's like
bright.
it kind of reminds me of a mint ice cream.
Yeah, totally. So
That's beautiful.
I'm really happy with that. Then I have a bunch of whips, so be patient. So I always like to knit 6,000 things instead of 2. I also have several that are like languishing, but I didn't bring those out. This one is from like a sun jar fade kit from Gathering Yarn, I believe. So it's like a fade of like white to dark pink. And I'm making the Birdwatcher Tee. I was inspired by several other ladies who knit at the Loop to make that, and so that's this guy. I've just got 2 of the 5 colors knit right now, and yeah, it's nice. It's like a...
What yarn is it?
It's
It's really nice.
I think it's from Gathering Yarn, but I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember what the content is.
Is it cotton? Is there cotton in it?
I think there's linen,
Or linen?
maybe?
Linen, yeah, it looks kind of like a linen.
Or silk,
linen
maybe?
cotton
Or I don't
base.
know. It's a summery fiber
Okay.
situation. And then my last one is the Gretter, which is not very summery, but it's beautiful.
Ooh, I haven't
and
seen
it's,
this.
I got the Brooklyn Tweed with birthday money to Stash, which I was very grateful for. And we just have to be careful because it's
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are the needles? The
Here.
ends.
the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so anyway, it's I can pull out the colors, the contrast colors are
It's gonna be beautiful. This is a gorgeous pattern, the
these
Gretter.
3. And yeah, it's working out really well. I really like it. I like the pattern. It's in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter that I got from Stash. And yeah, so
This is gonna be great. But you should have this done, I think, quickly.
yeah.
If you focus on it.
If I focus on it, well, that's the real disclaimer.
Yeah. Okay, so last weekend, Abby and I went to the Edmonton Fiber Frolic, and it was so much fun, and there were so many wonderful woolly booths of tons of hand-dyed yarn, some woollier yarn. There was spinning fiber, there was wool art, and it was really a beautiful event. And I kind of last minute asked Abby if she wanted to go with me, and we just went up for like a day and stayed with her mother-in-law, and it was really just like a wonderful event.
Yeah.
And we also got to meet some of you. I think a number of people came up to Abby and I and just said some really nice things to us about our podcast, and they missed us and hoped that we were doing well. And it seems that everyone's been very nice about the fact that we haven't been podcasting.
We disappeared.
We disappeared for a little while. And so I appreciate that. And that was really sweet. And I think that I was already kind of thinking about doing the podcast again, but I think it prompted me to come back again. And so we had a great time there, and both bought a lot of things. So what I acquired. So, oh gosh, did I get the creative? Okay. I bought these wool. Oh gosh. Okay, so I bought 2 bags at the Frolic, and I don't think I have the tags of like what the brand is. Was it JJ Wool?
Yeah.
Was it JJ Wool? Is that what?
Yeah.
JJ Wool. If you go to the Edmonton Fiber Frolic page, you can look at the vendors, and you'll be able to find these people. So these bags are made in Edmonton, and they're totally my style. They're kind of masculine, and they're made with pieces of suits and sweaters. So this is all different pieces of suits that are sewn together, and it's kind of this is it called a
Drawstring?
Drawstring bag? The R's, I'm having issues with R's today. Fiber, Frolic, and Drawstring. And then the inside of the bag is actually the other part of the suit, the kind of like soft inner part. And they're beautiful, and I love them. So I got one for kind of socks, but I currently have my sweater in it. And then I got this gorgeous kind of Notions bag. So this is a part of an old sweater, probably an Icelandic sweater, I would imagine. And then this is a suit. And they're really well-made, wonderful bags, and I love them. And so I got 2 of those. And then I got a bunch of yarn. So the nice part about the fact that I sock knit now, or it seems that I'm sock knitting, is I can buy sock yarn. And so I got a bunch of different sock yarns to make socks. I actually won this yarn. This is from Numana Yarns, and it's 3 small hanks of sock yarn from Numana Yarns. So 80/20 merino nylon, and it's called Salisbury Sock. And I won it at a knit night actually for the Edmonton Fiber Frolic. So I love these colors. So I'll probably use these either for a small pair of like a shorty sock, or I'll use them individually as kind of contrast heels, toes, things like that. And then I love Numana Yarns. We both love Numana Yarns. If you haven't heard of them or know of them, you need to look them up. They're local to Edmonton, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like in the Edmonton area.
Yeah.
And they're incredible stuff. So I got this yarn. I thought this would be super fun for socks. Something I would never use for a sweater or for a cowl or anything, but I would use it for socks. I thought it would be so fun, and I'm going to contrast it with a black heel toe. Yeah, I think it will be really, really striking and fun. And then I got this yarn from Comfy Cozy Knits, and also 80/20 merino nylon, and it's called Spring Flowers. Or I should say the names of the yarns. So this is Comfy Cozy Knits Spring Flowers. I'm going to knit it with the contrast heel toe flap like that. Oh, and this one's so they're both called Salisbury Sock. Oh, and this one's called New Highlighters is the dial. What do you call it? Colorway? Colorway.
Yeah.
And Summer Sweetness Kit. So I think this comes from a kit actually that I won. Okay, so that's that sock yarn, and then I bought a pretty large quantity of this yarn. It's from K Zip Knits, and Abby also got some of this, which you'll see in a second. And the colorway is doe-eyed, but it's not actually colorway. It's a natural yarn, and it is 75% BFL, and 25% brown Masham. And it's this beautiful kind of like gray, heather, maybe a little brown color, beautiful natural woolly yarn that I absolutely loved. And
It smells like a farm.
it smells great. And so I got that to make a vest. And actually, it turns out I decided I didn't want to make a vest and I wanted to make a sweater. So I actually ordered another one from them. And they only had one left online and to ship to me. And it was from this, I guess, like batch of yarn since it's not dyed. And so I thought that was kind of like meant to be. So I'm getting one more of that. And then my last acquisition is not from the Fiber Frolic, but it's recently I bought, this is a cone of Jamieson and Smith Shetland fingering, like the 2-ply yarn. And I got this at the Loop. The Loop is actually closing, and so they're having sales. And so please, if you live in Edmonton or Calgary or Alberta, get your butt to the Loop because she's having these awesome sales throughout the month of June, and I think even into July, possibly.
And even just to say goodbye.
Yeah.
They're really awesome there.
They're awesome. So this is a 500-gram cone of shade 202 and the Jamieson and Smith 2-ply. And it's this beautiful, gorgeous natural color. And it's 500 grams. So there's, I think, 2,500 yards in here.
Jesus.
Which is a crazy amount. For me, I could definitely knit a sweater out of it. And probably a sweater and a vest. And that's a lot of yarn for someone my size. And so I got that. And it was on sale. I think I got it for $70, which is insane. So it's gorgeous. And I knit up a... sorry, baby. Just hit him with the cone.
Oh, that's okay.
He's over here surrounded by all the yarn.
Yeah.
So I knit up this swatch in it just because I was so excited to knit it and just see what it did. And so I knit up this swatch and I blocked it. Oh, and it's so lovely. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The fabric is so light, but yet it would be so warm. And oh my god, he's laying on the cone. I have to show them.
So funny.
I have to
That's
show
my
them.
dog.
Bailey, that's not a. That's you can't put your head on that. Oh. Okay.
Oh my god.
Going back.
He's so funny.
Okay.
Oh my.
That's fine. You can lay your head on. So yeah. So this Jamieson Smith, it's gorgeous. It's so light and it knits up beautifully and it blocked out and even softer than it was before and it's just great. I love this natural color. I think I'm going to knit a sweater out of it. I might dye some of it, and Abby might have to help me dye some of it, and then make a sweater from it. But yeah, super affordable. I know you can get cones like this online from them, and they sell cones, and I highly recommend the cones. I think the only difference between the cone and the skein is that there's a little bit of spinning oil left in this that hasn't been washed out when they put it through a hank and into a skein, and so there's nothing. I didn't notice anything when I was knitting with it, but I think it is a tiny bit oily, and so it knits the same. You just will have to wash it. When you block it, it will, be normal. So
You
that's
want to
it.
wash it, Jamieson and Smith, anyway, though. Like, it's not a yarn that you would just knit into something and then not wash it.
No, yeah. Yeah. So those are my acquisitions.
Cool. Well, I've got lots. I've spent way too much money on yarn. So let's start with the Fiber Frolic. This is Numana Yarns, and it's some kind of fingering. I would tell you what kind, but my dog ate the label. That's his new thing. He likes to steal yarn labels. So it's a good thing he's cute. At least he doesn't eat yarn. He just eats the labels. So it's kind of a question mark of what it is, but it's some sort of fingering, and I remember it being like either merino or there was something.
Yeah, I think that the thing is that she
Or
has
silk.
this base is a specific base because it has this twist in it
Mm-hmm.
that is noticeably different than the other ones. You can see it when you look at the different yarns that she's like. For instance, like this is Numana also, and you can see that the twist is different.
Yeah, so it's not a sock yarn.
This
it
is
doesn't
sock.
have nylon in
This
it.
is just the fingering. Yeah.
I actually don't. I prefer to knit fingering weight projects with stuff that doesn't have nylon in it. So I typically go for like 100% merino or that kind of thing. So it'll be something to that effect. I'm just not quite sure because, again, my dog stole it and ate the label. So yeah, I really like that. That's going to be the Clementine sweater when I'm done a few other projects.
Okay, pause.
Haley,
What are you doing?
what you doing? Pumpkin butt? What you doing? The next thing I got was a sweater quantity of the same. It's called Myra Canyon DK and K-Zip Knits, and it's the same as Max's yarn. He got the natural color though, and I got aubergine and lavender in a sweater quantity, and it's non-superwash brown Masham and BFL, and it will be the Goldwing sweater by Jennifer Seingas when I decide to cast on. Yeah, I really like this stuff. It's beautiful, and they had a sample of it knit up, and it was so soft and drapey and just perfect.
Yeah, we both spent a lot of money at that that booth.
And then Stash Lounge was having a 20% off sale, so naturally I had to go there to get stuff to make the Billie pullover
Billie pullover
by Sari Nordlund, because we're going to do that together. So I got this Haynes Creek. Really, you're going to hear Haynes Creek a lot because we really like it. It's a good price and it's really beautiful yarn. So I got this
high quality.
Yeah, Haynes Creek in, I think, color 149. It's sort of...
Oh, it's an Aran. I thought it was
Yeah,
worsted. Yeah,
it's an Aran.
So it's slightly bigger.
So it's slightly thicker, which may be why your cast on didn't work out. And then the last thing that I got was at the Loop. I was really looking for Jamieson and Smith to make another Marie Wallin, but I got overwhelmed and ended up buying more Haynes Creek Aran to make another Feel the Burn crop by Caitlin Hunter instead. So that will also happen at some point. Maybe soon, maybe not, I don't know. And yeah, that's, I mean, I feel like I've got other things too, but without incriminating myself too much, that's a little show. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think maybe we keep the episode shorter this time, this first
Okay.
time around. Unless you have other things that you want to.
Well, I just
Anything you want
what
to
are
say?
you listening to?
Oh,
I
the
forgot
music. Oh, of course. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Harry Styles recently.
Oh, yeah.
I really like his recent album. I'm not a big Harry Styles fan in general, but I think he's turned me because I really like the album. It's a great recent. Have you heard it?
No.
Oh, you need to hear it. It's really good.
Okay.
And he's also, cute. He kind of looks like he's 12 though,
He
which
is cute, but
which is an issue for me because I prefer him to look like he's a grandpa over being 12.
that's hilarious.
In terms of my attraction.
Preference.
Yeah, my preference in terms of attraction. What else? That's kind of it. I have a really big season next year, so I've been making a playlist of music for what's on the season next year, including Mahler, Bruckner, Stravinsky, Saint-Saëns, a lot of great stuff. Whitney Houston. We're actually doing a Whitney Houston show. I just listen to that because it's fun, not because it helps prepare me for work. But yeah, what about you?
Well, since seeing Bernadette Peters, that was an amazing concert.
I played it.
He played in it, and it was awesome. I've listened to quite a bit of Bernadette Peters, like specifically like Sondheim and stuff like that.
Oh, it's the best!
Because it's the best.
Have you seen her singing at the Kennedy Center Honors?
Yes, that's what I watched.
Sorry, Bailey, sitting on us.
Right after, she's just a fantastic performer. So yeah, I listened to that, and honestly, I've been into T Swift lately. Taylor Swift is, I don't know, she's like so perfect for summer. She's very,
No.
she just makes me feel
Bailey's trying to eat my yarn. Come back here.
ready to be
Come
on
down.
summer vacation, I think. Yeah. Hey Bailey, we don't steal things.
You
Except
can't
for
eat
the
my
hair.
yarn.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in terms of, I think we'll probably podcast again soon. It's a beautiful, looks like it's going to be a beautiful summer here. Looks like someone needs some attention here. There'll be, we do have, I wanted to tell you something. There was a hand dyer from Italy who sent us, I think, 3 or 4 skeins of gorgeous hand-dyed yarn. A long time ago, and he sent it to us with the idea of sharing it with you to give away. And so I'm thinking next time we'll give that yarn away on the podcast. And I think it's 3 or 4 skeins of gorgeous, gorgeous hand-dyed yarns. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. But it's lovely to see all of you, or to you see us, because we can't obviously see you.
Yeah.
For you to see us. And let us know, what you've been up to, what you've been knitting, how you're doing. Let us know in the comments. If you're happy to see us, please let us know. And if you're not, then don't comment.
Just don't.
Just
watch
don't
it,
comment.
maybe?
Just don't
I
comment.
know.
Just don't comment if you're not happy.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that we'll wrap up there and
Yeah.
hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
What are you doing, you monster?
Bailey, look at him. He saved his
I think
monkey
it's time for a
business till
walk.
the end.